Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships for today's video. And apologies for not having video on Friday, Saturday. I've just had a lot going on between work, projects, helping Mrs. Flimsy with some projects, and Norwegian social studies work, coursework, so that has just kept me really busy. But all said and done, we are featuring the Tier 10 American Light Cruiser, and I'm just going to go for Worcester. That's what we're going to pronounce here. And according to the WoW's wiki, she's the largest, or is the world's largest light cruiser. Cover your ears. Doesn't take the ship's feelings into consideration here. But she is, for myself, a very enjoyable light cruiser to play. I honestly need to play this ship more. But I really end up playing Salem more than I do with the Worcester here. And so this is going to be a fun game. It's going to go the whole distance. I've tried to cut out some of that earlier footage just to help the video not be so long. So I've decided to do here is play to one of Worcester's strengths with these high arcing HE shells. And that is just focusing on enemy ships here. Over the mid-channel of the infamous Two Brothers, we're going to have a little bit of stereotype Two Brothers action. I'm going to talk about it and give some advice on how to deal with it, because we're going to see some not so great moves by our teammates and how they respond to it. Now, I do need to make mention, if you have not heard about it already, as you see, more than half that salvo just piles into the side of the island. There is a new gunnery bug in World of Warships. Again, some of you may already be aware of it, but it is if you are zoomed in and then you zoom out in the midst of a sequential fire sequence. Basically, you'll just hit the island, the remaining shells in the midst of your zoom out from your cursor will just smash the island. I, as a light cruiser player, use free look a lot, and that's just how I play as a Unicum player, so I really need it. And so I didn't quite catch what was going on at first until I was playing later, and I kind of wondered about what the heck, is it just I'm this close to the island or what. But later figured out that there was indeed an issue going on. Now, we've had some fun dealing with the Tier 8 British aircraft carrier, the Colossus. He got a little aggressive in trying to push up. Probably when you see carrier players move up in the mid area of Two Brothers, they're trying to utilize getting their shorter travel time for their strike aircraft. So basically higher DPM, but it's risky for them moving up like that. So we were able to take advantage of that. Now, you may have been wondering how I was able to get such massive damage with those HE salvos on the Colossus. And that is because this is no ordinary Worcester. This is a Worcester with the inertia fuse high explosive shells, meaning that we are not pinning just 30mm. When you take the inertia fuse for HE shells, you are pinning 37mm with these wonderful 152mm guns here. Now, this does have your fire chance from 12% to 6%, as you can get a max 14% HE build out of, or fire chance out of Worcester. But if we just take the India X-Ray and Victor Lima, we get a 7% chance, which is what we've done in this video. So that means a lot of ships you're seeing at the higher tiers, they have 32mm, especially battleships, heavy cruisers, aircraft carriers, and such. So we get to pin greater, right? So that is very helpful. And before I forget, if you're wondering what this camouflage is, it's just a temporary camo. I forgot I had mounted on. It's the New Year streamers is what I believe it's called. It's temporary. So I'm trying to discourage the Takahashi from just, like, you know, I can see it in my head already. Takahashi player goes full broadside to get all his torps off. And to the channel when there's a Salem and there's a Puerto Rico there. You know, Salem is my favorite heavy cruiser in World of Warships, so I'll probably have a video on that eventually. And so I know those guns really well. So it's not wise for the Takahashi to just go right out there. Now I'm going to take advantage when I'm having to deal with a Salem even though I'm not detected. He's taking some blind fire, so it tells me he's somewhat possibly skilled. Is that I want to take advantage of the corner of that island. The playstyle of Worcester, you can open gunboat. It's a little difficult. You don't have the most amazing rudder shift, but it is possible, as we're going to inch forward to get outside of the Puerto Rico's 10-kilometer radar. But you really want to play the island playstyle, right? To especially in the first half of the battle. You're going to see how we're going to need this health pool. Keep as much health as later on. That's typical for light cruisers, and when you're playing World of Warships, is you're wanting to keep your health pool as a light cruiser and even as a heavy cruiser for the last half of the battle, when it might make a big difference. As you see, we're down 4 ships. Our Yugamo, who just decided to go broadside out in front of a Puerto Rico and Salem just to get those torpedoes off, died, right? That's the temptation that a lot of players struggle with when you have some ships lodged in the channel, like the Salem Puerto Rico here are, and the Schlieffen soon to be coming, is that they just go full on broadside. They want to get their torpedoes off. It's like this unquenchable itch, and then it costs them their lives in the process. Okay, you can't play into that. You have to do more, let them come out. Or for myself, I don't want to allow them to just sit there all game, so I'm going to go out further down the 5-6 line, and you can do this whether you're on this side of the map or the opposite enemy spawn of the map. And I'm just, in this case with Worcester, I'm just going to throw in all my 37mm HE pinning shells. Now, so now we're watching Takahashi with Schlieffen simming up here. I'll talk more about Worcester when the time comes, but I just want to focus on this gameplay here. Schlieffen has the control of the situation, right? He should at least. Now, he is yellowing a Salem. Now, he has torpedoes. What does he do? Salem knowing he's going to die, he decides instead to ram the Schlieffen, because now Schlieffen was trying to get those torpedoes off, but too close to get those torps off. So, well done, Schlieffen. It was a very poor trade. All Schlieffen had to do was just kite out a little bit into the G6 square, and it would have been completely fine. Now, I'm very concerned for Takahashi, so I feel very pressured to try to get this Puerto Rico killed before he knocks out this Takahashi. And this Takahashi player, spoiler alert, is going to live. So he's actually going to do an okay job, but we are really trying to do what we can to help him out here. Now, there's a Schlieffen coming down the channel who's been very uncertain if he wants to come down the channel or not. If he would have been down the channel earlier and not been so passive, it actually would have made a key difference in the game here. So we're going to be playing at range and keep slinging these 37mm pinning HE shells. Now, the play style of Worcester, as I was talked about already for the light cruiser experience, is that she loves the island. She likes playing at distance, kind of helping to avoid. I take the propulsion mod in the 4 slot, and I think she still is a very good tier 10 light cruiser in the current meta, as long as you know her strengths and her weaknesses as well, which goes for about any ship in the game to an extent. You know, Shimanto is still crap regardless of meta currently, right? Unless the enemy team is just super dented. But our Takahashi lives. He gets his torps off on the Schlieffen. Schlieffen should have seen that coming. And you can see that Takahashi player was skilled. He just reversed back into cover behind the island, allowing myself and the Musashi player to help him out here. But he got the torps off. So that was phenomenal gameplay by the Takahashi. Yodo player, the tier 10 Japanese quote-unquote light cruiser, is in a bit of a pickle. We've lost our carrier, the Kaga, in the meantime, from the Montana, but the Kaga did eliminate the Yugamo. So that's very helpful. Now, Yodo is getting a heal, and he is putting some fire on that Monarch. So he's actually going to take out the Monarch, which is going to be really helpful here, but he's going to go down to the full health Bourgogne. Now, at this point, there's only 3 to 4, and we need to focus one flank in this situation. We can't fight both flanks. We need to be able to focus on the Montana and the enemy destroyer that's coming from Bravo. So we're going to ignore the Delta flank for now, And we're also going to, I'm going to encourage Takahashi to move up in Cap B. This isn't a favorable situation for Takahashi versus myself here. I can handle the situation a bit better than what the Takahashi can. Now, one of the helpful things about Worcester is her armor scheme. Now, she has 25mm, where, you know, something like a Minotaur has 60mm. So it does help us out a bit, but with Montana's 406s, it's still going to be a definite issue and problem for us. What makes Worcester really great, I think, in the game is the amount of consumables she has. You look at the bottom of that screen, right? Beyond just the airship, depth charge, airstrike, your damage control party, she got the repair party. She's got the hydroacoustic search. It's a 5km hydroacoustic search. She's got a 9km radar, and you can build and make it really long, especially if you take the legendary unique upgrade, and I think that goes in the 6th slot? Not entirely sure. Actually, I can see here. Yeah, it goes into 6th slot. I don't have it. I don't run it on Worcester. This enhances your consumables that much more. And she has defensive A, which you saw we got to utilize in the beginning against the Colossus. Now, I said it was a destroyer over here. Pardon my French, it was a submarine. Much worse. So, submarine is pushing up, and between the ARP Yamato and myself, we take out the Tier 8 American submarine. Very useful. Now, I've slowed down. I've turned bow in here, and yeah, we take a pretty considerable hit here, but now we're going to flex and go angled out so we can get all our guns off here on the Montana. And the Yamato is going to be very helpful here, so I tried to throw some shells at the bow of the pin, but ARP Yamato takes him out. So we're going to push up. We're going to kite away from the Bourgogne and flip Bravo. I decided just for the time being, let's just go ahead and stay quiet. The enemy Shimakaze is spotting us, so that gives us helpful information. He's not on the cap yet, though, as Takahashi is flipping Bravo cap. But we are going to move up here, and we're going to flip Alpha. Okay, so we're going to be playing a bit of a cap points game. We don't need to play aggressive. We're okay right now. We can just bide our time in this current situation. Now, we had the Hydro popped up, you know, helped us, of course, with that submarine, and that was the goal of it. I just forgot when I was doing the commentary of what it was exactly. It might be best for our Yamato to just push up through the channel and not sit quite so broadside if Bourgogne knows how to pick on the weakness. So I kind of leave it up to him to decide, you know, but with a Shimakaze bearing down on him, that's going to be an issue. So the big threat is the Bourgogne. Shimakaze, not such a threat in terms of the overall game. If we do lose Yamato, we have 2 light cruisers. Here you can see the bug happening again. Still very confused about what was happening here. But the DD is out. He's out wide, so he's not contesting the cap yet. And so I decide it's best to go ahead and flip, and then we're going to pull out to our left, or port, as I should say, so we can go ahead and bring our guns back onto Bourgogne, because we're going to need to whittle down Bourgogne as Yamato is losing health. So, other things to make mention of the Worcester. I think in 2023 she's still a really good cruiser overall. Just that her playstyle is not for everyone. If you can be mindful with your positioning, mindful and try to utilize islands as much as possible, that's very helpful. And now we can't really utilize the corner of the island there because Shimakaze's out. But I want to bait the Bourgogne to shoot me over the Yamato. So that's one of the reasons why I've presented myself as a target to Bourgogne. And I know as soon as Yamato goes down, Bourgogne will definitely be focusing me, so I need to whittle his health pull down as much as possible sooner rather than later. Now we do get some resets on the Shimakaze, so it's going to delay them from flipping C a little bit longer. Takahashi, in the meantime, he's been doing really well. He's playing a good cap game. He's flipped Bravo, he's flipped D. Typically on Two Brothers, what happens is that you can just be capping the enemy team behind them as they make a movement around the map. So that might even happen against you. You know, you're flipping caps, but then there's an enemy destroyer cruiser who's just going around behind you and flipping the caps as you go along. Now, one of the challenges we have here is Bourgogne has a main battery reload booster. So as much as I want to bring all guns to bear, once Bourgogne has made a shot, I don't know if he has the main battery reload booster available. So that could prove to be a critical kill. I know with my pin, this is where you're really seeing that 37mm pin come in really helpful here, rather than just so much of setting fires. But I like to go for the IFHE on booster just for the raw DPM. You know, sometimes it can feel rather trollish if you're getting fires off or not. You can see he has the Felipe, I don't know his last name, he's got the unique commander when it comes to potential damage. So he had one of his talents activate, but we've got some fires burning and cooking him, so we learn the Frenchman. So that works out really well for us. Now with Worcester, if you go for a max conceal build, you are rocking 9.7, okay? So we spot some torpedoes from Shimakaze, doesn't have the best concealed torpedoes in the world, so we go ahead and pop our hydroacoustic search just to be sure, because we're going to push back in against that Shimakaze. We have the ability to do so, we have our hydro available, and we have our radar available. Now that 9.77 by sea concealment, while your radar is a 9-kilometer radar, so you have a 0.7-kilometer gap, and I'm kind of feeling that, well, it's 9.8 is what it shows consume on the map, that Shimakaze is probably not too far away. You can see he was actually sitting still there, so he wasn't taking our radar threats too seriously, so we're going to go ahead and turn out this way. Instead, yes, there's the torps as we pick up Confederate. So if we had something like Halsey, right, that would have been fun to have here, as we're already ticking over 187,000 damage and having both Confederate and high caliber. So we're going to stay zoomed in here. There's no need for us to keep zooming in, zooming out. There's no threat. We're just checking torpedoes, making sure we are definitely going to avoid them. So we don't have to keep zooming out in and out constantly. I'm doing a little bit out here. That's just because of habit, right? Wanting to always see the bigger picture, and once you typically do something by habit, it sticks. Now we are going to just keep firing. Just because Shimakaze instantly goes dark doesn't mean we can't still get some shots in. You can see we're still getting some additional hits, some incapacitations. We're up to 7 pins now. And then there you see a bit of the island gunnery bug kicking in. Now here's the thing, okay? Radar's down, hydroacoustic search is down in 10 seconds. There's no need for us to push a Shimakaze when we're effectively blind. And one, maybe it'll take 2 well-landed torpedoes will mean our death. So we have 3 caps. There's no reason to win harder. We're a minute 10 from winning the game. And so I let my team know we're not pushing him. We're just going to sit here. We're going to chill out. We're going to keep the island between him and myself. When I get detected, I know that he'll either if I get detected, it's most likely that I'll maybe spot him here down the FG line, right, in the cap, or he's probably gone around behind to H4, yeah, something like that. So we get to have a little bit of camaraderie in the chat with the enemy team, or with our team, sorry, not the enemy team. So the Kaga, the Arc Yamato, and our Takahashi player did really well. I think they listened. They didn't really make unreasonable plays as we're using our depth charge airstrike, which by the way is for 8 kilometer long. And then we see the AA and Shimakaze is behind us. So we're just going to accelerate away. We have plenty of time, but we're just simply not going to risk it. And moving away from torpedoes gives us more time to dodge and avoid them. So we're just going to take some blind shots. Maybe we get lucky, get a hit. So that is going to be game with 194,000 damage. And I honestly haven't played Worcester recently. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I played Worcester. So this just felt really comfortable and satisfying game and knocking off the festive tokens. So 94,000 damage, Confederate high caliber, 472 shell hits with just the 1 destroyed. So we're just pumping a lot of damage into enemy team, the 1 destroyed. 11 set on fires, granted that we just had the 7% fire chance. 2 defended, 1 cap, and some damage as well with the depth charges. So we're top team with 2,500 base experience. So you can see that, you know, a game of course makes a lot of difference when you have a good CV player versus a bad CV player. And I did compliment the Kaga, RP Mato, and Takahashi. Probably should have complimented Yodo too. He did good, all things considered. So now we took 45,000 damage. Potential damage, 904,000. Fires, we did 27,000 despite having IFHE. And basically, we fired all high explosive. We never really had... I mean, we could have switched to AP with the broadside Yamato, I guess. But because of having the IFHE, I feel discomfortable sticking with IFHE. But AP would have done really well in that situation as well. So, in bringing this video to a close, I hope you liked today's video. And highlighting among one of my favorite light cruisers in the game. It's not my most favorite light cruiser in the game, but she's probably top 5, if not top 3. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate the support, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.